You want to add anything?
Yeah, just I love what we're doing here. I look at it as like a game that we're playing. It's like a really high level chess game that it's really fun. It's like three-dimensional, right? The first game is like Eddie's looking here at the map, right? It's like a Monopoly board. It's full of real estate, right? That map is full of real estate. There's some really good real estate today. And we all know playing Monopoly, you want to hit Park Place, Boardwalk, whatever. There's so many good locations out there right now to be had. That's the first game. The second game is understanding helium, right? Understanding how they want this coverage built, right? So looking at this map, Eddie just showed you some areas that are great. You can piggyback off of them. You can start new clusters, whatever. That we just understand that a little bit, and that's great. But the biggest game that we're playing is the iHub game, right? iHub has done something genius here where they've secured inventory, right? I calculate that over the next year, 40% of the United States hotspots are going to come through the iHub system because of what they've done as a company with securing the inventory, right? There's such a shortage of these things. Having access to them is gold, right? I mean, it's just absolute gold. The fact that we're getting boxes and we're out there putting them in today is crazy. And not just one, but multiple, right? So when you combine those three games, we just have such an opportunity here. I've never seen anything like it. The people that take this serious for the next year and go out and own real estate, whether it's one orange dot in the middle of nowhere, that one orange dot in the middle of nowhere someday may be crowded with green dots and boom, a box is coming out to them. Or that person is building out their own perfect little six-pack today and creating their own network, that way. So the iHub game is the one at the end of the day. What we want to do for our team is educate them to the best that we can so that if there's 1,000 boxes coming out in a given week, that a good portion of them come to our team because we've done what they want, which is create those six packs and pick those those really good locations, the one-offs, right? So with that, Eddie, why don't you pull up a couple locations? I love doing this. And one thing I love about this little exercise is you can put in whatever address that you want in the sideline, and 9 out of 10, almost 10 out of 10 times, we're going to come back with the same strategy. Oh, this market's great. Why? Because there's nobody here and we can build it new. Why? Because look, there's a nice little pocket like Norwood where you can piggyback on that and build a six-pack at the same time. That's like the perfect scenario, right? But pretty much anywhere we go in the United States, we're going to have the same story. It's going to be, this is a great location. You got any addresses in there, Ed?
Just put one in. So we got Lance right now. Lance has just provided what I would say to be a pretty darn good situation here, right?
I told you, everyone we pull up, it's the same story.
Yeah, I mean, this is right now, here's the beauty of this spot, right? You'd look at it and say, there's nothing out there, right? But somebody has done a pretty good job of looking at this area here saying, you know what, there's a lot of potential. And it's going to be all yours. Like whoever starts this area within iHub and they just get more and more people coming on, then all of a sudden the whole area is going to be, basically you're going to have a sliver of ownership of that whole thing. So right now you got yourself in the middle, you got two spots right now in the six-pack with a lot of potential right outside of that. So I'm assuming, and I don't like to assume, but I bet you probably a lot of these orange dot people. So what suggestion would be right now is to get a couple of these people and get them, if they're involved and they're excited, get them on in like a Zoom and strategize with them, bring them into the strategy to what's going to get these boxes to this group fastest. So usually if this is all one person doing this, get them on a call, get a couple of them on a Zoom and say, okay, guys, gals, we need to get a couple more of these orange dots in the sweet spot here, this little green area. So what we want to do is find somebody that might live here. And you could actually exit out if you know how to grab this screen or picture of it, and then just put some X's in spots that would be good. Like I'd put one here, I'd put one here, put one over here. And now you've got yourself the perfect six-pack it's like a six-pack on steroids, because as soon as this free six-pack gets deployed, they're going to look at all the other orange dots that are going to be able to connect into that six pack. And this just became a huge moneymaker just like that, right? So, but oftentimes getting a couple other people in on that strategy with you and saying, this is what we can do together to build our area out. Who knows someone up on Hill Street? Who knows someone down there on North Main? And between a couple people, someone's going to know someone who lives down there. And then you get those four other or five other orange dots in here, and you're good to go. Now you can make some noise there and even submit it in to, as a ticket or something. Submit it to us, and we'll put it in there. Go into the Facebook group and just say, hey, how's this for a six pack? We'll take that and pop it over to those guys too. Just make a lot of noise. So that's a great. There's a great location here. It's got a lot of huge potential because once you get it going, there'll be no stopping it. All right, now let me see here. I'm going to pull up another one. Pull up another address here. Hold on. Bear with me. Okay. Oh, wow. Yeah, this is a similar situation that I've seen before. So this one here is a tricky one. Now, remember, this goes back to, because one of the caveats with this area right now is so far the closest I've got reserved for me is 1.5 miles. So that's a tough one. So instead of even caring about your house right now, I would probably put that to the side because obviously these guys are you in this little town here. So I would work with these folks here to create a six pack. So you can go right in here. If you just take this one of these areas and click on it, oftentimes you'll get the green or the box to pull over, but it's not doing it right now. But you put another box in the middle, another one over here. You create a six pack there. That is what you're going to need to do in order to get people moving over into this neck of the woods naturally as the area expands coverage. And eventually, guess what? With a good 8.0 dBi antenna, you'll be able to hit those boxes. So eventually this spot will be good. But right now, what I would do is I'd focus my time on helping this get to be a six pack as quick as possible. If that makes sense. What do you think, Jim? Well, I don't know if he's there anymore. I know he's.
No, I'm here, Eddie. I also like to see whenever there's any place in the country, pretty much, if you zoom out a little bit, you're going to find the first city where there is some action. So I always like to see wherever, usually it's not that far. This one might be far. Where are we?
We're not in Kansas anymore.
All right. Well, so there you go. That whatever that is, that's probably about an hour away. Wherever I just saw there was a big city. So for somebody that's out in the suburbs, I mean, this is really at the end of the day, in the next year, what you want to do is you want to build out your little network that you have nice orange dots out there. And then eventually you want to move, you want to go to the suburbs of that city, whatever city that is. So I would go to the southwest suburbs and start working there and work towards you, right? So you want to connect where you live to that big city. You're going to own that real estate or a good chunk of it from where you live up to wherever that city is. And that's, my strategy would be to work it both ways. I want to go to the suburbs, the outskirts of that green area, because I know that I can put dots and keep on coming closer to me. And then I know that my own little thing is going to start out as a little nucleus, and it's going to grow and grow and grow, and eventually they'll touch each other.
Yep. And that whole area, this is something that you can do too when you're in here, because the general rule of thumb is like 300 meters, right? For between hotspots. So this is a little measuring stick right here. If you click on it and then you take the little cross that it has and you put it on a location and then you go to wherever else you want, let's say this one, you can see how many meters it is to get from one place to another. It's just a good little thing to have to kind of gauge distance. So let me go and pop in another address. I'm still letting people in, so bear with me. All right, here's an interesting one up in West Hartford. Let's go and see what Jenna has going here. Jenna, let's see what you got. Hold on, what did I do there? Okay, that worked. Okay, let's see what this, oh, look at this. This is a very interesting spot. So another thing, what's that? I didn't do that. That's so weird. That is really weird. I did not do that. Huh. Can anybody else see these little red things?
Yeah, somebody's doing a whiteboard.
Look at that. It's beaconing already, and you didn't even, it
That
didn't even
is
plug it in.
fascinating. I've never had that happen.
It's
before.
like magic, Ed. It just beacons when I want it to.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Look at that. All right, so look at this area here. This is an interesting one. Jim, what's your take on this one?
So I see it's good. I see that whenever I see a lot of green dots, that's always a good sign. And then I also see a lot of, hex areas that don't have any dots, right? So that means that there's plenty of room for expansion here for sure. What do you got here? What's your miles? What do you got? What's that circle? A 5 mile radius?
Yeah, 5 miles.
Yeah, 5 miles, man. West Hartford's a pretty big city. That's definitely going to be a good area. Same thing like every other city, the downtown center, it's work in the suburbs, go west, or go east. It doesn't matter. If you can go and just build out that center nucleus that's already there, work the suburbs, going in, just expanding that network. So this is a great one. Again, you got that same concept where you can be somewhere, and if you can build a 6-pack, where that 6-pack can all of it automatically be talking to 50 or 60 machines potentially, that's really the best thing that you could possibly do, is build a 6-pack in the suburbs of West Hartford or any city USA. Just get out into the suburbs a little bit, build your 6-pack. The box are going to make money from the network that's already there, and they're going to benefit from each other.
Yeah, definitely. And what I like about this particular situation here is this is gonna, just by me putting in the address means that somebody's looking there. So you make that an orange dot, right? You've already got 3 other green dots, that are there. You have another orange dot. That means that, someone has reserved it. That's a clean iHub spot. Get another, there's a plan. Someone planned this spot. So we don't know who that is. One of the suggestions we're going to make, and I'm sure that they're already on it, but some type of voluntary communication, where if I sign up and say, I agree to be allowed to be communicated to, just through like a back office, like a messaging center, to say, hey, who's got this blue dot? And I can reach out to them and say, okay, you would be a big help to me if you could turn this to orange, that kind of thing. But that's not available today. We just want it to happen. So I would look at someone right up in this quadrant here, and maybe in that quadrant, I'd say you get two other people, and this is going to be an awesome deployment. It's going to happen fast and furious. Maybe one down here too. Just maybe 2, just one up here, one down here. That will complete it, and you'll be good to go. That's a good spot, because then you're going to be part of a decent city. These things will fill in, and the more boxes now that are communicating, the more money your box makes. And that's just a great little scenario that you have there.